Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing here on this Wednesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite here on Wednesday, the 5th of November, 2025 at 11 a.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on the twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Just for those who are new to this live stream, we go roughly for about an hour. We look at today's daily quota, we look at the weather in the UK, and we'll also have a look at some of the news today. We're going to be covering more specifically world news, but we will touch on a bit of UK news as well there. As let's see who's in the chats today. Ellie, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Good morning to Matty Von Erich as well. Alison Keir, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Wales there, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Stephen Banker, good morning to you as well. Hope you are doing well. Oh, and thank you, Matty, for the £2 super chat. Let's get this started. Let's get this target started. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate the £2 super chat. Thank you. Very generous of you. Thank you for that very generous super chat. Rosemary, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Scott Hayes there, and anybody else who's just lurking in the chats. And of course, I'll say, hopefully he'll pop in and just leave a message of a very happy birthday to Dave McGuinness. And just a reminder, guys, next week, Thursday, on the roundtable, myself and Dave McGuinness will be on. So if you guys want to join us for that, please feel free to do so. Love having Dave McGuinness on. Always fascinating, insightful to have him on. So I'm really looking forward to having him on. Still need 2 more guests. I have reached out to a couple of people, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them, so cross fingers. But if not, I can always bring up the usual people if need be, guys. So cross fingers, I get some new faces for the show next week, guys. Anna, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well as well there. Right, so let's start with today's daily quota here, guys. It is the 5th of November. It is the 5th of November, guys. Here it is from Bev James, if you can see the name down there. And that's the website, www.littlepennythoughts.com, if you guys want one for yourself. So let's see what Bev James has said in our quotation. When you think that you can't move forward, take a look back and see just how far you have already come. When you think that you can't move forward, take a look back and see of just how far you have already come. Don't think we need any more context than that, guys. There's a nice one for tomorrow as well. I thought that was a lovely quote. I hope you like that one. I really like that one. I really like. How are we all? I am very good. I'm very good. Some reason I've still got a problem here with the throat. I think it's more the temperature more than anything. But I think when I come back from, I got to go. As soon as I finish here, guys, I've got to go straight to town. When I come back, I'm probably going to have myself a honey and lemon to help with the throat, because I definitely feel like I'm building something up. And also tomorrow I'm going to be donating blood as well. Tomorrow I'm going to be donating blood, and Friday I'm going to a late night wrestling show. Saturday is my dad's birthday weekend. Then of course Sunday is Remembrance Day as well. Me and my missus like to attend Remembrance Sunday, because I do think it's important. So yeah, I've got quite a lot of things going on in the next couple of days, guys. So yeah, let's have a look at today's weather, guys, and see what is going on here. So here we go. Here is today's weather at the moment. For 6 o'clock our time, 6 o'clock here, guys. So a couple of hours later on here. Just for reference, so let's just have a quick look at Europe here. See what Europe is saying at the moment. Madrid and Lisbon of 15, 16. Rain dropping. Rain forecasting over in Spain, guys. Rome 15. Nice 15 there. Palermo 14 there. Bern 6. Chile 6. Zagreb 7. Tundra 13. Budapest 9 there. Chisu 8. Kiev 10. Vienna 9. Prague 7. Berlin 10. Also 8. Paris 13 there, Moscow, Chile 7, St. Petersburg 11, Oslo 11 there, Riyadh 10 there, Rakovic there, Chile 4 degrees there as well. They're getting they always get rain, to be fair, there to be fair. Paris 13 there, zoom a bit more in, Brussels there is also at 13 here in the UK. Today temperatures, as I said yesterday, it's going to be quite warm. 14, 15, 16 degrees. Again, we should not be having these kind of temperatures at all during this time, but we are because of climate change, of course. And we've got some shower drops of rain dropping over Scotland. So if you are certain parts of Scotland will be experiencing rain today. You probably looked out your window and probably have already heard it or noticed it. Parts of it may be raining a bit later on. Little bits of scattered showers here and there, maybe around and scattered showers in roundabout parts of Ireland and small parts of England there. But overall, it is going to go away overnight there. There will be some little bits of shower overnight into the Thursday, into the next day there. Going into the next day overnight there, and you can see temperatures again 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can see temperatures are going to be quite warm there, so they're not going to be too problematic for you guys there. Moving into the next day here, can I just want to I'm just looking at it from you guys' perspective there. I want to make sure you guys can see that all right. Yeah, 6 o'clock from that perspective there. Temperatures again still pretty warm, 15 14 degrees, 13 in Edinburgh there. Bits of rain but nothing too much there. Most of the part of the UK will be dry, but there'll be some showers here and there tomorrow, but again nothing that you can't handle. A little bit of wind as well, but again it's going to be a dry day. It's very concerning that we're getting this kind of temperatures in November when it really should be a lot colder, so it should be a cause for concern. Going into Friday, though, into the next overnight there, we'll see a little bit of drop there, but again, nothing too serious. Again, you can get away with not putting on the heating. Again, as we go into the next day here. Friday, 6 o'clock in the morning. Here, again, nothing really. No rain really forecast really at the moment until Friday evening. Maybe there'll be some spits of rain. But pretty much throughout the whole of Friday, most parts of the UK are probably going to avoid the rain there. Might get some pickups of wind there. We can see there is some rain coming in overnight. Parts of Wales and southwest England are going to experience some rain. So small parts of Scotland also there, you can see, are going to experience some rain Friday evening as well. But mostly it's going to be dry overnight again into Saturday. Again, temperatures are going to drip. They are going to finally drop a little bit. Friday night into Saturday there, but again nothing too much. I don't think it should be too much to worry about again. And most of Saturday, again, I did say to you guys it was going to be dry, and it looks like it's still going to remain that way. They haven't changed it too much, but temperatures look like are going to drop Saturday night into Sunday morning there. So yeah, temperatures are going to drop finally there, so just be aware of that. It might be a bit chilly there. But moving into Sunday afternoon there, temperatures again rising back up to a nice 13-12 degrees, nothing too big there. Bits of showers here and there, but nothing too serious again. And then just have a quick note on what Monday looks like. Then Monday, it looks like we're going to get a bit of rain coming over there. It looks like Scotland is going to experience quite a hefty bit of rain Monday morning, from Sunday overnight to Monday morning there from the looks of it. Parts of Wales and parts of England are also going to experience that as well. So there's some showers here and there expected on Monday next week there as well. Just for reference there. So those are some of the weather patterns we got for the next couple of days. So rain and showers here and there, nothing too big, guys. It should be pretty okay. So of course, the big news, guys. We are going to start from the Associated Press, because how can we not talk about the big news, guys? Now it's over in America. Zoran Mondani has done it. He is going to become the next New York City mayor. From Queens lawmaker to New York City mayor, Democrats dominate as economic woes take a toll on Trump's GOP and other election days, the 2025 takeaways. There were other elections taking place, which Democrats swept to victory in all, comfortably won on all of them as well. To be fair, most of them were more Democratic than Republican, to be fair, as well. Stephen Banker, thank you so much for the Ollie Appreciation Society. Ollie! It's for the Ollie Appreciation Society, guys. It's for Ollie there. And if you're a member, you can actually have his emoji as well there. You can actually have an emoji of Ollie as well. So thank you so much for that, Stephen Banker. I really appreciate your support. Yeah, thank you for that £2 super chat. Really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for Ollie indeed. So let's have a quick look at some of the results. So Democrats dominate as an economic woes take a toll on Trump's GOP, take away from the election day. Trump blamed the government shutdown for the election results. Apparently, according to Truth Social, that's what he said. It was nothing to. It was nothing. It's not because of him. It was because of the government shutdown that the Democrats imposed. Apparently, according to him. We will touch more on this later on as well, I'm sure. So Democrats dominated the first major election day since President Donald Trump returned to the White House. And while the debate about the future of the Democratic Party may have only just begun, there are signs that the economy, specifically Trump's inability to deliver economic turnout, as he promised last fall, may be a problem for Trump's GOP heading into next year's high-stakes midterm elections. Democrats on Tuesday won governor races in Virginia and New Jersey, the only states electing new chief executives this year. They also swept a trio of state Supreme Court contests in swing states Pennsylvania and ballot measures from Colorado to Maine. Trump was largely absent from the campaigning trail, but GOP candidates closely aligned themselves with the president, betting that his big win last year could provide a path to victory this time, and they were wrong. Democrats are hoping the off-year romp offers a new winning playbook, but some cautions may be warranted. Tuesday's elections were limited to a handful of states, most of which lean blue, as it says. And the party that holds the White House typically struggles in off-year elections. Yeah. And meanwhile, Republicans in Washington may be more excited than Democrats that a self-described Democratic Socialist will become New York's city next mayor. Former Republican Abigail Spencer will become Virginia's next governor and is the first female chief executive. While Republican Mike Sherrills won New Jersey's governor office by running campaigns focused largely on the economy, public safety, and health care. Early results show Democratic outperforming their margins from 4 years ago in fast-growing suburbs, rural areas, and even places with a high concentration of military voters. Democrats won by actively distancing themselves from some of the Democratic Party's far-left policies and emphasized what Spellsberger described in her victory speech as pragmatism over partisanship. And a growing collection of Democratic leaders believe the moderate approach holds the key to the party's revival after the GOP won the White House and both congressional chambers last year. And above all, the Democrats in both states focus on rising costs such as groceries, energy, and healthcare, which Trump has struggled to control. In addition to tackling to the middle on economic issues, Spellsberger and Sherrill downplayed their support for aggressive priorities, including LGBTQ rights and resistance against Trump's attacks on American institutions. Spellsberger rarely even mentioned Trump's name on the campaign trail. Both have resumed their appealed to the middle. She is a former CIA case officer who spent years working undercover, while Sherrill spent a decade as an active-duty helicopter pilot for the Navy before entering Congress. Both played up the public safety backgrounds as a direct response to GOP attacks that Democrats are soft on crime. Where are they talking about them? They're not mentioning Zoran here. Oh yeah, there it is. This is Donald Trump last night. Trump wasn't on the ballot and shut down were the two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight, according to pollsters. He posted on his social media account. I think he's shook up, guys. I think he's shook up. I think he's a little bit shook up. Moderates won in Virginia and New Jersey, but a self-described Democrat socialist cruised to victory in New York City. Zoran Mandami, 34-year-old, younger than me, a 34-year-old state legislator who backs radical changes to address economic inequality, will serve as the next mayor of the nation's largest city. His bold agenda and inspirational approach has helped generate the largest turnout in the New York mayoral race in the last 3 decades. He also spooked some business leaders and voices in the Jewish community who would otherwise support Democrats, but opposed some of Mandami's past statements about personal wealth accumulation and Israel. Trump, who actually endorsed Mandami's independent opponent, former Democratic Andrew Cuomo, falsely accused Mandami as a communist on the eve of the election, and some Republicans in Washington were quietly rooting for Mandami's victory. Even before his win was final, Republican campaign committees launched attack ads against more than a dozen vulnerable House Democrats in New York and New Jersey, linking them to Mandami and his far-left politics. The ad campaign is expected to extend to Democrats across the country ahead of next year's midterms. He's still... The reality is still a lot of Democrats have not backed him, despite the fact that he still won. So the pressure is going to be on some of the top-ranking Democrats to actually get behind him. We know AOC and Bernie Sanders is very much behind him. Covered quite a bit of Zoran yesterday on yesterday's Global News live stream as well. There are questions about whether or not he's going to be able to implement a lot of the policies that he has said he's going to do as well. I watched his speech this morning, his victory speech this morning, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. I do recommend checking it out, having a listen to it. I mean, it sounds of hope and positivity and whatnot. But we've been here before as well, and I think this was a valid point. I think that's a valid point as well. We have been here before where people have talked about giving people hope, and that person was Barack Obama. When Barack Obama became president, there was a sense of change, of hope, that hope was coming, and that people finally had something to believe in. A lot of Americans didn't get that. Now, whether New York will get that under Zoran Mandami remains to be seen. And while I'm absolutely ecstatic to see him elected, and I do think it is going to shake up politics, not just in America, but around the world, it remains to be seen what he does. Obviously, he's not going to be in the city. He's not going to be officially taking over until the 1st of January, so he'll have time to prepare everything, prepare his people as much as possible, and get his policies and agendas in pretty much as soon as the door opens. I really do hope he succeeds. I really hope he does, but I'm also very skeptical and very wary of how Donald Trump will react to him now as the next mayor of New York City. That is still something that is still wriggling on the back of my mind right now. Obama's whole thing was Bob the Builder slogan. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Obama's biggest achievement was the Obamacare. You know, that was one of his biggest achievements, I feel. But a lot of people did not get the hope and change that they were expecting from him as well. So I am delighted that he got the nod. I really am. And there's a lot of people who want to bring him down. And he is saying all the right things. Right now he's saying all the right things. Once he comes in the office, we're going to see what he's going to be able to do. I am going to try and keep an eye on him very closely as much as I possibly can. Like the things that he says, the things that he says, the things that he does once he goes into office. I really want to see what he does, because he's got to work. It's not just about what he does. It's not just about the team that he's going to build around him he does, because there's a lot of different interconnection things around New York City that he's got to pull and fight with to get what he wants. It's not all down to him in the city. So we can only hope that he is able to achieve what he wants. Some other stories. What else is happening in the news this morning? What is this story on the right here? Japan sends troops to northern region to help stop bear attacks after a record number of casualties. They've had to deploy troops. Japan sends troops to northern region to help stop bear attacks after a record number of casualties. Oh my god. So Japan's defense ministry sent troops on Wednesday to the northern province of Akita to help contain a surge of bear attacks that have horrified residents in the mountainous regions. They have showed up near schools, train stations, supermarkets, and even in hot spring resorts, with attacks by the animals reported almost daily across Japan, mostly in the north. Since April, more than 100 people have been injured and at least 12 killed in bear attacks across Japan. According to the Environmental Ministry, says this is at the end of November. What's causing this? Every day, bears institute into residential areas in the region, and their impact is expanding. Fisher Masato reports responses to the bear problems are an urgent matter. The Defense Ministry and Atika's preference signed an agreement on the troops dispatch on Wednesday afternoon, allowing soldiers to set box traps with food inside, transport local hunters, and help with disposal of dead bears. The soldiers will not use firearms to cull bears, officials have said. They said local authorities were getting desperate due to a lack of manpower and daily reports of bear attacks. The defense minister said on Tuesday the bear mission aims to help secure people's daily lives, but that self-defense force members' primary mission is national defense, and they cannot provide unlimited support for the bear response. The Japanese SDF is already understaffed. So far, the ministry has not received other requests for troop assistance over the bear issue, it said. In Antica preference, it has a population of about 880,000. Bears have attacked more than 50 people since May, killing at least 4, according to a local government. Experts said 70% of the bear attacks have occurred in residential areas. An elderly woman who went mushroom hunting in the forest was found dead, and an apparent bear attack over the weekend. Yakusuka Seri over the preference. Another elderly woman, encountered a bear while working on a farm and was killed in late October. And a newspaper delivery man was attacked by a bear and suffered an injury in Natika City on Tuesday. Experts say Japan's aging and declining population in rural areas are among the reasons for the growing bear population in recent years. Abandoned neighborhoods and farmland with permission and chestnut trees often attract bears to residential areas. Once bears find food and acquire a taste, they keep coming back, experts say. Local hunters are also aging and not used to bear hunting. Experts say police and other authorities should be trained as government hunters to help cull the animals. The government has set up a task force last week to create an official bear response by mid-November. Officials are considering bear population surveys, the use of communication devices to issue bear warnings, and revisions to hunting rules. They also say experts should be trained in hunting and ecology. The lack of preventive measures in the depopulated and aging northern regions have also led to an increase in the populations of brown bears and ethnic black bears, the ministry has said. This is very fascinating. I wonder how much of this is to do with climate change as well, because, and the reason why I say that is they had an increase in bear attacks. Now, is it because that they're not getting enough food of their own, or is this because the thing is that if this can't have always been the norm here, these daily bear attacks, this can't have been the norm. So something has changed in the patterns, and I wonder if climate change has played a part in the reason for more bear attacks in the country. I generally do think, yeah, that might play a part in some way, shape, or form. Because the thing is, if bears have the space and the food they need, why do they need to roam in? Yes, obviously, even in other countries we see where wild bears are in, like in America, for example, or Canada, they do tend to sometimes roam into residential areas. But daily attacks, is that really something that's supposed to be normal in Japan? Typhoon Kalagami leaves 66 dead, mainly in the Philippines province, still recovering from the deadly quake. Oh no. We got a video. They do have a video. Can we play it? Let me give it a second to load up. 1 second, guys. See if we can have a look. No, we don't want to hear your... We don't want to hear your ad, thank you. Just realised I left my mic on this side on. Right, 1 second. Oof. This is Philippines. Oh my god. Someone in there? Damn. That's really bad. How many lives? 66 people dead. 66 dead, with 26 others missing in central Philippines, many in widespread flooding that trapped people on their roofs and swept away cars in Harding province, still recovering from a deadly earthquake, officials said on Wednesday. Ah, dear. Crew is on its way to provide humanitarian help to in provinces battered by Kamagani, the military said. It did not give the cause for a crash. Air Force helicopter crash in southern province in Azazar on Tuesday. How did that happen? Was the winds too much? Okay, so that's where the projection was. That's where the projection of where it was. So, wow, went right into the heart of it there. Thoughts and prayers with our friends there. Good morning, Jal. Thanks for popping in. Much appreciated. Billy Kershaw, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well there. As world leaders enter climate talks, people in poverty have have the most at stake there. Interesting. Man touches Mexican president while she speaks with citizens in Mexico's city streets. I will come to that government shutdown story in just a moment. Spoke with citizens on the street in Mexico's talk downtown Tuesday. A man who appeared to be in debris stepped up behind her and touched her before a government official intervened. A video circulated while on social media. A man appeared to leaning for... Oh, God. She gently pushed his hand away, maintaining a stiff smile as she returned to face him. She could be heard saying in part, "Don't worry." So maintain. So her security detail was not immediately visible in the close video shot on Tuesday. Oh, my God. I'll tell you what. She's brave. She's brave being on the streets, going on the streets as a president. Considering how violent things are in Mexico right now with the cartels and whatnot. In an unfair scene in the week when Shibata repeatedly had to address questions about political violence following the public assassination of a mayor in western Michigan state. I did mention that in a short video over the weekend. She was met with the mayor's widow. Have they got the video? They haven't got the video here. Would have been interesting to have seen the video, to see the person and doing it. Just curious. Government shutdown has become the longest on record as the fallout spreads nationwide. What to do if your flight is delayed or cancelled during the US government shutdown? Drive. That's the obvious answer. After confirming possible White House-run California Newsom scores a win in for US House. Trump tariffs face Supreme Court test in the $1 trillion test of executive power as well. Just a quick reminder, guys, as well, if you guys want to financially support me and help me reach today's Super Chat goal, you can do down below. Your comment will get read out, guaranteed as well, guys. Thanks for those who've given Super Chat so far. So let's have a read. President Donald Trump's power to unilaterally impose far-reaching tariffs is coming back. Before the Supreme Court Wednesday, today, in a pivotal test of executive power, the $1 trillion implementation for the global economy. I hope the Supreme Court shoots this down. But I got a feeling that he's probably going to get it his way because many of them are Republican. The Republican administration is trying to defend the tariff essential to Trump's economic agenda after lower courts ruled the emergency law he didn't give him near limitless power to set changes duties on imports. The Constitution says Congress has the power to levy tariffs, but the Trump administration argues that in emergency situations the president can regulate importation taxes like tariffs. Trump has called the case one of the most important in the country's history and said a ruling against him will be catastrophic for the economy. The challengers argued the 1977 emergency powers law Trump used doesn't even mention tariffs, and no president before has used it to impose them. A collection of small businesses said uncertainty is driving them to the brink of bankruptcy. Yeah, so he's trying to declare it's an emergency. We need it. It's an emergency. We need it. 1 second, guys. Where is that video? Where is that link? Give me a second. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just waiting for the chat to update on my. I'm waiting for the chat to update on my end. Alistair, thanks for the link, and we'll have a look at it in a second. Challengers argued that the Bank of Providence there. The case centers on two sets of tariffs. The first came in February on imports from Canada, China, and Mexico after Trump declared a national emergency over drug trafficking. The second involves a sweeping reciprocal tariffs on most countries that Trump announced in April. I know, Pingu. I know. Yeah. Democratic Penguins Republic is suffering. The Penguin Island as well. Multiple lawsuits have been filed over the tariffs, and the courts will hear suits filed by Democrat-leading states and small businesses focused on everything from plumbing supplies to women's cycling appeal. Lower courts have struck down the bulk of his tariffs as an illegal use of emergency power, but the nation's high court may see it differently. Trump helped shape the conservative majority court, naming 3 of his judges in his first term. The justices have so far been reluctant to check his extraordinary flex of executive power, handing him a series of weeds on his emergency docket. Though still, those who have been on short-term orders, little of Trump's wide-ranging conservative agenda have been fully argued before the nation's highest court, and that means the outcome would set the tone for wider legal pushback against his policies. The justices have been skeptical of executive power claims before, such as then Joe Biden tried to forgive $400 billion in student loans under a current different law dealing with national emergencies. The Supreme Court found that it didn't clearly give him the power to enact a program with such a big economic impact, a legal principle known as the Major Questions Doctrine. The challengers say Trump's tariffs should get the same treatment since they'll have a much greater economic effect, raising some $3 trillion over the next decade. The government, on the other hand, says the tariffs are different because they are a major part of his approach to foreign affairs, an area where the court should not be second-guessing the president. Well, this is where it should be. He should be doing this in the House. It should be passed through Congress. It should be passed there. It's not should be something that he should be deciding. There's ways to do it. The problem is that they're doing. The reason it's being done that the Trump administration are doing the tariffs in the way they are doing, using emergency legislation, is because they know that they won't get it through the House. Even with a majority, they won't get it through. He won't get it through Congress. So he's trying to bypass Congress. That's what this is about, because he doesn't have the faith in them. Good morning, Scott Hayes, if I didn't say that already. All right, let me see if the... 1 second, guys. Let me see if the link is up. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not even gonna play the audio. You can just watch it here. Like, yeah, this is very weird. Thanks for that. Thanks, Alison Keir here. So here's the Mexican president here. And watch the guy. Watch what this guy does. It's very, very weird. That's very weird. That's very weird. Oh my God. That is very, very weird. Thanks for that. Oh my God. Wow. Do you know what the thing that sticks out to me the most is why was she allowed to get so oh God. That's very he did kiss her. Yeah, that's very freaky. That is very freaky indeed. Oh man, that's yeah. Although she did handle it pretty professionally, though. I will say, though, her reaction after it there looks pretty. She handled it pretty well. But you kind of need to, because you got the public spotlight right on you there. To be fair, so let's just have a quick nose of some of the other stories, and we'll switch gears in a moment. Massive fireball erupts as UPS plane crashes at Kentucky airport, leaving 7 dead. Absolutely terrible. Israel returns bodies of 15 Palestinians to Gaza there. As vice president during 9/11, Chesney is at the center of an enduring debate over US spy powers. Pizza Hut parent company says it's considering selling the chain there. AFC reacts to Zora Mandawi winning the New York Mace. Well, she'll be happy, just like a lot of us are. But yeah, it's going to be... yeah, I'm going to be talking more about it tonight, guys. I can assure you. I will be talking more about the race tonight. That is for sure. Let's have a quick look at NBC News. A lot of it's going to be some of the similar stories, but we will look at others there as well. I think he did, but I think the guard got in to kind of before he did something really silly there, as well. Zora Cott there. Good to see you there. Hope you are doing well on Twitch. Yeah, I'm so glad. Yep. Looking forward to seeing what he does. Yeah, it's a good night for the Democrats. Democrats sweep key races. Yep, we've looked at that already. Projected winner 50.4% to Cuomo's 41.6% there. Is that the final count? I'm assuming that's the final count, or are they still counting? I'm assuming they're still counting. Yep, so those are all the races. California voters approved new state redistricting map. The Democratic drawn map push by Gavin Newsom aims to counter similar GOP efforts elsewhere. Yeah, they didn't want... again, here's the thing. They didn't want to redraw the maps, but they don't have a choice because the Republicans are doing it in Texas and other places. So they don't want to do it, but they had to do it. Pennsylvania voters retain a free state Supreme Court justices, preserving the 5-Jew majority there. Virginia's Gaza Hashmi becomes the first Muslim woman elected statewide in the US there. Interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how she does. Government shutdown. What other stories they've got here? Australian mushroom murderer launches appeal against conviction. Germany crackdowns on Muslim groups viewed as a threat to constitutional order. Escape monkey fatally shot, leaving one still on the loose after Mississippi crash. Surrender to save yourself. Russia urges Ukrainian troops squeeze in a key city. Oh no, they've cut off some Ukrainian troops. Have they cut off? They've cut them. They've cut them off, haven't they? Russia's defense minister said on Wednesday Ukrainian troops to surrender saved themselves in Proskytsk, a transport and supply hub seen to gateway to nearby cities. Ukrainian troops have launched helicopter raids and counteroffensive to try and ease the pressure on key eastern cities. Kremlin seeks a crucial battlefield victory with the US pushing for peace shelved. Street battles have been full. Putin's forces have been battling to take Proskytsk for more than a year, but now appear to be on the verge of breakthrough with the front lines and the city increasingly blurred. Let me have a quick nose, guys, at the deep state map. Let's see what it's actually saying. Where are we at? One second. I'm just reminding myself where that is. Prochnak. Yeah. Okay, here it is from the deep state map's perspective. This is the deep state map if anyone's interested. Oh man. This was their last update. Yeah, they're gonna lose this. They're gonna lose all this. They're gonna lose all this. They're not. How much have they? Yeah, they've liberated some. Just looking back there. Yeah, they're still making pushes, even though it's slow. There. Yeah, it did say it's very misty there. But yeah, this is the city they're referring to on NBC News here. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good there, guys. Let's leave NBC News. Let's have a quick look at the New York Times. We'll have a look at some other stories. I will have a look at a bit on UK in a bit, guys. Don't worry. Before we end here at 12 o'clock. Why does National Socialist join the Democratic Party? Well, I don't think a socialist could join the Republican Party. So their best way is through the Democratic Party. I think that's the way. Sometimes the best way to make change is to join you have to join a party that you don't really align yourself with the policies and whatnot. There is that saying of sometimes you need to change it from within rather than trying to change it from the outside. I think that's the best way to try and look at it there. And Alistair's provided a link if anyone wants to have a look at the deep state map themselves. It has been a while since I've covered it, to be fair. Mandani Seal's victory in improbable run. The New York Times. Obviously, they had to cover it there, the New York Times there. So you can see there, just in terms of numbers there, Mandami and Cuomo there in terms of numbers. Very, very high turnout. High turnout, over 1 million votes. 50.4%. Cuomo got 854,000, 41.6. Only 146 for Silver there. But yeah, Queens area still quite a lot for Cuomo there. Mainly in the Bronx for Mandami, mainly in Brooklyn for Mandami. Although there were some areas that were very much against Mandami. There, Staten Island very much was against Mandami as well. Very much behind Cuomo as well. Yeah, so just an interesting looking at some of the numbers there. Quite fascinating there. Very interesting. California approves News House map. Major win for Democrats there as well. In terms of percentages there, California prompt 50. That is the pro-redistricting. 63.8% voted in favor of it. And then New Jersey governor there is 56.2%. And Virginia governor there, Spellsberger, 57.5% there in terms of numbers there. Other stories they've got here. This was a scene. This is the UPS, a plane crash in Louisville that killed at least 7 people, unfortunately. There. Why Mandami won? He listens to the people. That's why. White House says it will make some SNAP payments after Trump threat to defy the court. It's just terrible. They are really cruel. There were literally There are literally, I kid you not, there have been TikTok videos. I think Vosh shared it on one of his live streams. There was he shared the TikTok videos of Republican voters mocking people on SNAP payments who are losing SNAP payments, literally saying, now you can actually, you can stop, you're not ripping off the state anymore. You keep going buying stuff you don't need. Now you have to go and get a job and actually be an actual proper working American. And it's not everyone is in that situation. I can't believe people are mocking Americans, mocking other Americans that are on SNAP. It's so cruel. It's just so cruel. Unnecessary cruel. Judge expresses alarm about ICE detection conditions. Of course, because they're trying to keep it quiet about how they're treating them as well. Dick Cheney, powerful vice president, dies at the age of 89. May he rest in peace. Trump weighs options or risks for attacks on Venezuela. He's not going to do a land attack. He'd be mad to do it. He would be absolutely mad to do it. Mind you, though, he has been a bit mad since he took over, though. We talked about this story yesterday on Global News, so I'm not going to cover it here. Any other story? Interesting stories here. Scars in the blue mosque reveal Afghan wives. Is waking up to pee normal? Yes, I would say yes, it is. I think it's normal. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've woken up and not gone to the loo in the morning. Even if I go before bed, I still wake up needing to go. I also do drink a lot of water though, but that's just me. I think it's normal, but if you want to reveal down in the comments, you can do as well. If you want to start a debate on that in the chat. Bold assassinations are a reality check in Mexico's cartel fight. IBM to cut thousands of workers amid AI boom. Supreme Court considers toxic baby food lawsuit involving Whole Foods. Windy, wet weather hits the West Coast. Ohio State and Indiana release the first college football. Yeah, not interested in sport. And those are some of the stories there from the New York Times. It's going to be interesting to see how things go. Let's have a quick nose and see what's happening in the UK, guys. I don't normally cover the UK news on a Wednesday, but we'll have a nose anyway. Britain sliding into economic crisis over £85 billion sickness bill. Ex-John Lewis boss has warned. The number of sick and disabled people out of work is putting the UK at risk of economic inactive crisis that threatens the country's prosperity, according to a new report. There were 800,000 more people out of work now in 2019 due to health conditions, costing employers £85 billion a year, according to a review by the former boss, John Lewis boss Sir Charlie Mayfield. The problem could worsen without intervention, but Sir Charles, who will lead a task force aimed at helping people return to work, said this was not inevitable. The move has been broadly welcomed, but some business groups say Labour's employment rights bill, including some disincentives to hiring people with existing illnesses. It's a difficult situation because it's like that. I do feel like the number is going to go up either way, guys. I do feel like it's going to go up either way. The amount of people on entitlements, because we are still a growing population. So I do feel that is inevitable. I don't see a situation where they can cut this bill. I don't see how they can bring it down. I'm all for trying to help get people into work, of course. But the key point that I want to make in this is that we really have to do it in a humane way. We can't just throw anybody, regardless of their sick or disabilities or mental abilities as well, because there's also mental health is a big factor in why a lot of people aren't working as well. We have to look at ways that we can help these people into a job. And it's not just a case of just throwing them into a retail job and getting them stacking shelves and whatnot, because that's not always going to be the solution here. We have to put them in jobs that they are comfortable with. And even here, like what I'm doing literally right now, this is a job that they could potentially be doing something online as well, that they could create and generate their potential, make something of themselves as well here. So there are options. There are lots of different options, I would say. Always, Matty, thanks for popping in. Great, appreciate it. But yeah, there are ways we can help people, but there are circumstances where there are many people who simply just cannot work because of their physical abilities. I think the mental side of it, the problem is that all these things come at a cost, and if they're not going to come out of that person's pocket, they need to come out of the taxpayer pocket. And obviously people don't like that. People don't want to be spending taxpayer money doing that. But I would argue back to people that if it means getting that person potentially off the entitlement system, then they're able to sustain themselves with a job and an income for themselves, then that's a good thing. But this all ties back to the cost of living again, because the problem is that stark contrast to what Reform Russia want to do in terms of cutting the minimum wage. The minimum wage is too low, and if you are a single person on the minimum wage, you cannot afford to rent. You cannot afford to buy a home. You cannot afford to be there. And even if you are in a couple on minimum wage, even that is almost near to next impossible. Not enough for rent in London, for example, like for a home. And I've said in the past on this channel about how when I was working full time, my partner still works full time, and we were both earning, in my view, decent incomes, more than decent incomes, and yet we still could not afford a home. Not even a one-bedroom house, guys. Not even a one-bedroom house. And how are you supposed to, if you can't, you have to deal with the cost of living crisis. If you want to get people off entitlements, you've got to accept that there is a cost of living crisis, and you've got to be willing to get more money into people's pockets. It's all well and good saying about growing businesses, getting more people into work and whatnot, but people need to start feeling money in their pockets, and bills need to stop going up. We need to freeze the bills, and we need people's wages to go up, and that would make a massive difference. I know it's not as simple as that. But they have to find a way to do it. The reality is it's just not fair on the next generation right now. That is the reality. Taxes are going up. I accept that there will be tax rises. I just hope that the taxes are more on the wealthiest rather than ordinary people. I just hope it's more on the wealthiest in society. I am not happy that they're talking about, again, looking at the disability cuts again, because it was mentioned again by Rachel Reeves, which is absolutely infuriating. It's like, do you really want to piss off the British public when you've already have before? BBC has questions after the over-edited Trump speech. MPs say, what did they edit out of it? Telegraph has said seen internal memos suggested the program edited two parts of Trump's speech together, so that he appeared to explicitly encourage the Capitol Hill riots in January 2021. It said it had written to BBC Show asking what's been taken over, raising concerns in the memo. We don't comment on leaked documents when the BBC sees feedback and considers it. We need to be assured that those at the very top of the BBC treat with the issue as sensitive. It said the committee was looking into ensure BBC was taking decisive. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? That's very interesting. Why would the BBC do that? Huge tax cuts not realistic. Any other stories the BBC's got for the UK, just out of curiosity? Oldest victim of the post office scandal, 92, receives final payout. 92. She's finally got a payout. 92. I mean, I'm happy she's got it, but my God. They would have rather she kicked the bucket than paid her out. They really would. Mortgages and artificial intelligence to be added to the curriculum in English schools. Children will be taught how to budget and how mortgages work as the government seeks to modernise the national curriculum in England schools. They'll also be taught how to spot fake news and disinformation, including AI-generated content, following the first review of what is taught in schools for over a decade. Said the government wanted to revitalise the curriculum but keep a firm foundation in basics like English, maths and reading. Yep. Head teachers said the review recommendations were sensible, but would require sufficient funding and teachers. Look, I agree that children need to learn how to budget, need to learn how mortgages work. I think children should still need to learn about finances, because that would really benefit us, and it will really benefit them in the long term about how to manage money. If they learn about finances there. But I suppose budget is the same thing, if you want to put it like that. I'm very much all for this kind of stuff being taught to kids, and I think this is really, really important. However, we go back to the same problem that I've mentioned when it comes to education. The teachers already have enough crap on their shoulders. They need support doing this. And I hear it time and time again, and don't just take my word for it. I've heard it from teachers. I know relatives of mine who are teachers, and they say how difficult and how stressful it already is for them. And it just feels like throwing more work on them and just saying, oh yeah, we're just going to tell the teachers you need to start learning this. It's just not as easy as that. It's just not. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for this. I really am. But what are we doing to make sure that the teachers are not getting overwhelmed with work? That's my question. Like, again, I'm all for this, but what are we doing to make sure the teachers are not getting overwhelmed in all this? Because I think that's a fair point to make. More than 30 dogs trapped in a loft as flooding hits. No! Oh no! 37 dogs are trapped in a loft in a dog sanctuary after a band of intense rain caused the surrounding area to flood. Aston Clark, dogs and stones Cambridge lost everything when a riverbank burst on Tuesday. 9 dogs were rescued by the emergency service, but the remaining more reactive dogs are currently stranded. There's been widespread flooding and disruption in many parts of Wales, with flood warnings across Cambridgeshire, Pembrokeshire and Swansea. The Clark said the property was completely cut off with the road flooded for the 12th time since July, but he added, the dogs are safe. I kept them alive yesterday. Oh dear. Oh, thank God. They tried to bring the 37 dogs living at the sanctuary to safety as water levels rose rapidly on Tuesday, but at every level they went up, the water followed. She said the fire and rescue service helped 9 of the dogs to safety using boats, but the others had to be left behind because some of them are really reactive and can't share or go elsewhere. The rest are just in crates in the loft where they have nowhere to go for their toilet or any food left, she told the BBC. It's just devastating. Everything's gone. Clark said the building is still underwater on Wednesday morning, though the floodwaters have receded slightly. He said the floods hit almost of all the sanctuary dog food supplies, with only 2 bags remaining. And the road totally flooded with no access in and out. There's no electricity or nothing for the dogs. Bedding is soaking. We've got no washing machines now, and everything's damaged. Everything's flooded. Thank God we had crates in the loft to go in such an emergency, but it's just the aftermath of it now. We lost everything today. It's just another bedding savaging. Thank God the dogs aren't dead though. They didn't die. I think that's that's what I was worried about. They had to leave them, but I think the dogs. My understanding is that they're okay. My understanding is that they're okay, but they just got left up there. They had no choice. That's terrible. BBC Scotland apologised for misleading news in Scotland about parroting. Troy, far-right comments said it was the national paper today, my friend. That was BBC Scotland, was it? Misleading Scotland about parroting. Yeah, you guys tell me BBC Scotland is pretty bloody useless at their job. Got about 7 minutes left. Let's have a look at some other news, guys. So we did touch on a bit on the UK there. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to doing the watch along live stream tonight. There's a lot to cover. I really want to get some clips of Mandami as well as other things. There's going to be plenty to talk about. Elected New York City's first Muslim mayor. Israeli air attack, shelling and demolishing camping hit southern Gaza. Yeah, ceasefire, guys. But don't worry, guys. There's still a ceasefire in Gaza. There's still a ceasefire. Attack on a funeral. An attack on a funeral in war-torn Sudan's Kofan region kills 40. There's been reports of an RSF attack on an army-led Al-Hub and emerges as paramilitary groups on the verge of... An attack on a funeral in the key city of Sunday State has killed 40 people. A funeral? Really? Really? Really, RSF? Like, it's bad enough some of the things you're doing. And a funeral as well? Come on. Funeral. God. That's horrible. I hate that. That's so horrible. Nasty, nasty people, the RSF. They're so nasty. UN chief warns Gaza stabilization force must have international legitimacy. This is true. Yeah. But the problem is that even... But even the UN peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon are getting crapped on by Israel as well. Like, even if, like, it's not gonna, like, it may get international legitimacy, but it's not gonna get it from America. It's not gonna get it from America. The United States General Secretary Antonio Guterres warned that any stabilization force in Gaza must full international legitimacy to support Palestinians in Gaza. In an interview with Al Jazeera, he said that the truce achieved in the besieged and bombarded enclave after horrific suffering and famine remained delicate and needs international guarantees. It's important the forces that have created full international legitimacy deal with the parties and the population of Gaza. The proposed international force for Gaza was part of US President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan. But I don't think he wants to go that far, because Israel doesn't want it to go that far. But which nations comprise the forces that contentious Israel or US backing has already said it will not accept Turkey, a key Gaza ceasefire mediator, having any role in the ground. Turkey, which has repeatedly condemned Israel's genocidal war in Gaza, held a top-level meeting this week demanding Israel stop violating the truce and allow crucial humanitarian aid to enter the embattled Palestinian enclave. Yep. Again, they don't want any sympathizers for Palestinians in a part of it. EU waters down climate target in the last ditch before the COP30 in Brazil. Everything has an end. Ronaldo says he will retire from football soon. Yep, that is going to happen. Age catches up with everyone, unfortunately. Age catches up with everyone. Don't know if Messi is retired yet, but all footballers are going to have to hang up their boots at some point. Just have a quick look at African news here. Mr. Skims, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Have you watched the whistleblower that worked for the UN? His interview on the rife corruption of child exploitation as he talks about the UN RWA. I have not seen that, Mr. Skim. If you could provide me a link on Discord, I'd be greatly appreciated. There. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for that. I would generally like to look at that if possible. There. 2 French nationals free from Iranian prisons after more than 3 years in detention. They still haven't been sent back to France, by the way, just for reference. I've read the article already. M23 rebels set up parallel justice system in North Kivu. Mali leaders address deadly fuel crisis amid jihad's blockage. UN warns insignificant global action keeps climate risk high. Morocco issues first human trafficking sentence over Asia online scam there as well. Qatar's Emirates condemns atrocities committed by paramilitaries in Sudan as well. In Kenya, bee stings are used to be treated as illness there. Any other stories here? Tanzania Human Rights Watch denounces crackdown on protesters after the disputed election. Yep, Tanzania are cracking down on people, what they claim is a disputed election there as well. So those are some of the stories there from Africa News. Let's have a quick look at the Kiev Independent before we hit 12 o'clock. I do have to go out today as well. Thank you, Mr. Skim. I appreciate it. How Europe plans to phase out Russian oil and gas. Yep, they need to do that. The sooner the better. Explosions in Russia's oil on blast. Residents claim Ukrainian missile attack. Governor says drones. Belgium shuts down Brussels airport due to suspicious drone sighting. Again, suspected Russian drones doing that again. Ukrainian suspect in Nord Stream sabotage case declares hunger strike in an Italian prison. Zelensky draws a line in EU talks with Hungary. Won't bargain over our values. Ukraine confirms a drone strike on key Russian oil refinery plant. I covered that in a short video. EU approves 1.8 billion euros for Ukraine over long-term funding plan. That was yesterday. Video shows a Russian drone killing white flag waving civilian and a dog. Ukraine open war crime investigation. I can't look at it, guys, because I can't show on someone being murdered on the YouTube, guys. That would be really bad. I would like to see it, just to remind me of just how nasty Russians are, but I'm not going to do it, guys. Belgian military orders to shoot down unknown drone over the bases. Russian Osniks missile enters serial production. Putin claims nearly 1 year after promising to mass produce the weapon. Returning home photographer Yeni Laskers finds beauty in a country at war. There is something fascinating. There is something beautiful about being a photographer. That is for sure. And yes, Deputy Prime Minister's questions is happening now. Is going to be happening now as well on Politics Social. If you guys want to head over there. Yeah, so I am going to wrap up here, obviously, because some people will want to watch Deputy Prime Minister's question time. I won't be able to because I've got a lot to do today. Guys. But yeah, if you want to head over to Graham Hughes and Politics Social, Prime Minister's questions, it's Deputy Prime Minister's questions. You're more there. But I'm done here for today, guys. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came tonight, this morning. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Stephen Banker, and Mutty for your for the £2 super chats there. Greatly appreciate it. I know not everyone can support, but thank you for those who have. Thank you guys for those super chats. It's greatly appreciated. I will be back again tonight at 8 o'clock for the Reganelite's watch along. We'll be looking at lots of different clips, listening to reactions from Mondami's victory. We're going to be looking at see some reactions to the Chancellor and things have been going on there, as well as other things as well. I'm really looking forward to tonight's live stream, so do join me for that as well. If I'm up for it, I'll probably do a Discord after chat as well, because I did not do one on Monday as well. So thank you guys again. Have a good rest of your day, whatever you guys are doing. But on your way out, if you can, please hit that like button. Share this across social media. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to find additional content, I've got additional free content on Rumble and Patreon. Links for them are both down below. There's also a free Discord community you can join as well. And you can find me on all my social medias there if you want to reach out to me personally, as links are in the description as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.